Well, Mark, over the last couple of games, you've hardly had your time to catch your breath between each match. Have you had time to reflect on Saturday yet?
Yeah, it's a case of we take the 3 points. We know we weren't at our best, but we still dominated nearly every statistic. We have to kick on now and move on to Grimsby. We know that it's game after game, so we have to play, rest, recover, play again. So that's where we are.
And then Saturday's game, obviously, with 2 late goals to turn it around. It's the sort of game that a Forest Green fan would absolutely love. As the manager, do you enjoy it the same way?
No, I think you're just constantly thinking about the game and how you can change it and try and get to a better place to give us a chance to win the game or get back in the game. So constantly thinking about that and try and take the emotion out of it and make sure you make decisions with a clear mind.
And you mentioned there the changes that you made. 2 of your substitutes were heavily involved. Obviously, Jake Young getting the equaliser and Scott Wagstaff's cross providing that equaliser after Matt's header. When you make changes like that and they come off, do you give yourself a pat on the back?
No, not really. We know that we've got a deeper squad this year and we can make changes that can impact the game. We didn't really have that last year. And there's that many games that players have got to be ready to come off the bench in the game, change the game, and as the game it is a squad game at the minute, and of course you want to play your strongest team. What you perceive your strongest team is. It's impossible for these players to play every minute of every game at the moment. Otherwise they'll break down. So it's important that we look at it and make sure we're looking after 1 or 2.
As you mentioned there, it is a squad game and it's felt even more crucial over the last 3 games, isn't it, with obviously the absentees?
Yeah, of course, that we missed 5 players from the Stevenage game. Obviously we've still got 4 of those isolated. So it's been tough, but the boys have been magnificent. We should have won all 3 games. We should have beat Colchester because we played really well in the second half, but if you'd have said to me we're going to have those players out and we'll take 6 points from 9, I think we'd have probably took it.
And that shows the desire, isn't it, which was clear to see on Saturday.
They're desperate to win, they're desperate to stay up and around at the top of the table, and sometimes, and I've spoken in these interviews about in the recruitment this year, my recommendations that we signed 3 or 4 players that could help us develop the art of playing not very well and winning, or not playing as well, and winning games or getting points on the board, and that's what we did on Saturday.
And one of those players you mentioned is Jamil Matt. Obviously gives you a different option. You've said in past interviews that he's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but he keeps on scoring for you.
Well, he has to be at the minute because we're not getting many from anywhere else, so he has to be. And when you look at his header, it's an unbelievable header. The power he gets and the height he gets, there wasn't a lot of pace on the ball. But that's him, that's what he does. If the ball comes in the box enough, then he'll get chances.
And another Tuesday night test coming up now at Grimsby Town. What are you expecting from them?
Difficult to know because they changed their team a lot. I think Ian has decided that every game he wants fresh legs because they press, they charge about, they try and pass the ball, and he wants freshness in his team, and full credit to him, but we're not too sure what kind of team they'll pick, but we know it'll be a good one, and there'll be a couple of familiar faces in there in Willow and Mort, and we'll have to be good to win the game.
And when you play in an enigmatic team like Grimsby, is it even more than usual you're just focused on yourself going into it?
You have to look at their strengths and try and negate those, but if we do what we do really well, then we have a chance to win.
And those 2 players you mentioned there, was James Morton and George Williams, both players that spent time in last season. You know what they're about, and does that mean that you have a better understanding of how to stop them?
Possibly. I mean, Willow on his day is a world beater, isn't he? He's like, some of the stuff he does is incredible. He just unfortunate with injuries. We couldn't take a gamble with the climate at the minute on players that weren't going to have a history of not playing enough games. And just got to make sure we get bodies around him and stop him shooting. And Mort's did well for us in patches last year, really cultured, left foot. I'm sure he'll go on to have a good career again.
And obviously, as you said, you want to go into every game wanting to win it. You've still got that slightly depleted squad, but you know that the players can step up and have done.
Yeah, look at young Jake Young. He scored, a couple of goals in the last 3 games, and he's really pushing the others now for a start. And he looks as though he's got goals in him.
Yeah, his goals to minutes must look pretty good at the moment, and I suppose he'll be wanting to carry that on, and will you?
Yeah, of course. I said last week we've got work to do with him, and once he gets a grip on the fact that you have to run without the ball sometimes and not just with it, then he'll be a far better player. But he's going to be a good player.
And you know that on top of that you've got other players with certain strengths going forwards. Odin particularly was good again on Saturday. So you do have a bit of a headache, don't you, in the front selection?
Yeah, we're an attacking team. We want to create chances. We want balls across the goal. We want shots in the box. And we've got a lot of attacking threats. But one thing that's missing is not hitting the target enough. We have to improve.
And purely on a statistics basis, I suppose the more you hit the target, the more go in.
Yeah, and it's shooting from the right place, isn't it? It's not about shooting from 4 yards and putting it out of the ground. It's about making sure you've got a realistic opportunity to score.